some other person. Thank you so much.
Ya kundendu tushara hara dhavala, ya shubhra vastranvita, ya veena varadanda manditakara, ya shweta padmasana, ya brahmachyuta shankara prabhatir, devai sada vandita, samam patu saraswati bhagavati, nishesha jadyataha.
Thank you very much.
With this prayer to Ma Saraswati, on this very auspicious day of Mahanavami, friends, I extend a very hearty welcome to you all for the second lecture in this series, Shastry Memorial Talk Series. We had a lecture last Friday on Natya Shastra. Today, a lecture by our Shatavadhani Dr. Ganesh ji on Valmiki, Vyasa and Kalidasa. It's impossible to introduce someone of the caliber of Shataavadhani Dr. Ganesh ji, one of the finest scholars in the field of Sanskrit language literature, Vedas, Upanishads. Someone arguably has done more work in this field than many others. Someone who has given thousands of talks on various aspects of our language and literature, poetry, philosophy. Someone who has earned the respect of thousands and thousands of people all over the world. Someone who has written so many books on various topics. One who has won so many awards in the field of so many different languages, as well as many other in the field of art forms as well. Someone who has composed so many special pieces for dance programs. Someone who is respected by a great many people, amongst whom we have one very special person here, Dr. S.L. Bhairappa, and a great legendary dancer, Dr. Padma Subramaniam, and many others. And we have such a great scholar here amongst us in Shatavadhani, Dr. Ganesh ji. We extend a very hearty welcome to Ganesh ji again here in our hall. And today, the event will be chaired by our Sri Subhanu Saxena. Subhanu is a trustee of the Bhavan, one of our executive committee members, and someone who also had a few lessons here at the Bhavan, and who studied Vedas in India, and at the moment who is the director of the Melinda and Bill Gates Foundation, someone who has given so many talks on various aspects of Indian philosophy, especially Shankara's philosophy. And I'm so happy our dear friend Subhanu is here to chair, and at the end say a few words in conclusion. Now over to Sri Ganesh ji.
Om Tat Sat Mahakavi Mukham Bhoja Mani Panjara Sharikam Chaitanya Jaladhit Jyotsnam Devim Vande Saraswatim Chaturmukha Mukham Bhoja Vanaham Savadhur Mama Manase Ramatam Nityam Sarva Shukla Saraswati Chidananda Kalam Vanim Vande Chandrakala Dharam Nirmalyataratam Yena Bimbitam Chitta Bhittishu. Good evening. I am very much beholden to the Bhavan Center here and Dr. Nandaji, and also to the learned gathering here, which is very much interested in Sanskrit literature. And after 25 years perhaps, I am meeting Sri Subhanu Saxena ji. Before 25 years, I was talking to him in Sanskrit, And the same conversation continued just now. Subhanuji had come then to Bangalore to take lessons from a great Vedantin, Vidwan Ashwathanarayana, and he was studying Adhyasa Bhashya with a commentary called Sugama, written by a legendary scholar and a versatile scholar, of course, in Advaita Vedanta and other faculties of philosophy, Sri Sachidanandendra Saraswati Swamiji. That work he was studying, and I was very much interested how this gentleman was studying the law, perhaps, I think, and practicing, was undergoing the classes in Vedanta, and in the London traffic was listening to the recorded lessons and then recapitulating the import of that. Now, the other dimension of that, it was Brahmananda, and now it is Rasananda, Brahmaswad Sahodara. We say the highest Ananda, the highest bliss according to Indian tradition is Brahmananda, the joy of one's own self, J capital and S capital. And just an younger brother of it, one step below that is Rasananda, the joy of art, the joy of literature, and the pleasure that we extract through aesthetics. And Kavya, Kaveh Karma Kavyam, the work of an artist becomes art. And also, Kavi means a seer, a visionary. Kavru Varne Darshane, like that in Indian tradition, poet has been given very high status, for he has a greater vision, and also that vision percolating towards a manifestation. Vision is darshana, and manifestation is pradarshana, and that is an aesthetic manifestation, and it will have a nidarshana. A vision, when it has to come out for the benefit of the masses, then it will become pradarshana. But it should always be appealing, and the sense of appeal comes from imagery, and that is nidarshana. And imagery itself is the work of an artist. In that sense, imagery in Sanskrit is called vakrata, vakrokti. An artist, a person who can conceive such oblique expression, such a beautiful expression, such an indirect expression, which will yield a lot of joy, along with greater trigger of wisdom, that will become poetry. Mere didactic sentence will not become poetry. It should be coupled with something else. Didactic line is something like a copper wire, and an imaginative analogy is like an electric current passing through that. Then that wire becomes, earlier it was dead, it will become a live wire. And if it is properly channelized, it will become an illuminating lamp. If wrongly handled, it will give a shocking effect. One simple analogy, I shall take it from Sanskrit literature itself. We are always bored by didactic messages. Preaching should never be the case. Preaching is the worst thing that can happen, like that we all know. We are trained in the modern idiom and modern world's nature. But that can become so appealing. One subhashita, one saying from Sanskrit, I can remember. There are many, a lot of subhashitas are available. As a random pickup, I shall take one subhashita. There, the poet Bhartrahari says, people, when they are bribed, they naturally speak sweet words. It is a well-known worldly wisdom. When people are favored, then they naturally speak sweet things. It's all because of the temptation. And the analogy that poet offers is, for that we should be knowing something regarding Indian percussion instrument, mridangam. On the face of it, it will be smeared with a paste, and paste will be generally made of rice, cooked rice, that will be pounded, that will be mashed, and that paste will be smeared on that, and then it will yield melodious sound. Konayati vasho loke mukhe pindena puritaha mridango mukhalepena karoti madhuradvanim. Will not utter sweet words when his face is full with pinda. Pinda means a morsel of food, something tempting, bribed. Then he will naturally speak out well. In that way, we have seen in the world how the percussion instrument works. Without that mukhalepa means a paste which will be smeared on the face of the percussive instrument. It is called in Kannada bona. In Kannada, bona means food. When food is offered to it, it will naturally emit sweet words. And the same thing is used in so many other ways. The same percussive instrument, the same sound, but different meaning, different message. Another verse I shall take. Dundubist sutaram achetanaha, dundubistu sutaram achetanaha, tan mukhadapi dhanam dhanam dhanam, ithameva ninadah pravartate, kim punaryadi jane sachetane. Dundubi, a big drum. Sutaram achetanaha, it is absolutely inanimate, it is lifeless. It is covered by dead skin. Dundubistu sutaram achetanaha. Tanmukadapi dhanam dhanam dhanam. If it is beaten, that sound resembles dhanam dhanam dhanam. In Sanskrit and in most of the Indian languages, dhanam means money, money, money. Even the dead percussive instrument, when its mouth is slapped, it immediately ejaculates with that reverberating sound. Dhanam dhanam dhanam. Tanmukhadapi dhanam dhanam dhanam. Ithameva ninadah pravartate. That's so it is resonating. Kim punaryadi jane sachetane. What to say about people who are in flesh and blood? What to say about normal mortals? It means the same instrument, but used in a different sense. Earlier, it was just the food. We need food for our existence. And then comes money. People can be satisfied with food because our stomach has certain limitation. But our pockets and of course our wallets, they don't have any limitation. Any amount will be poured, it will be a bottomless pit. And the second verse brings out such another thing. It means the message may be more or less one and the same. And even the thing meant for analogy is also one and the same. But the way in which it is used, it's highly aesthetic. It is very different. And this way of bringing out difference in shades of imagination is the crux of an imaginative poet. He is the gifted poet's observation and approach towards things. Sanskrit poetry essentially focuses on such things. It has so many other things, but this makes it very, very unique. If you go to a book of sayings in any language, you see very many good quotations, but very few analogies. But if you take, in random you select a book of quotations from Sanskrit, it may be Sadukti Karanamrita or Subhashitavali or Sukti Muktavali or Subhashita Rakta Bhandagara or Subhashita Rakta Kosha or whatsoever. If you turn to the chapter Samanya Niti and go through the lines there, every verse is tucked with beautiful analogies and very poetic imagery. It will be having two-folded beauty. One is the imagery of sound and the other is of sense. Imagery of sound in Sanskrit is called Shabdalankara and imagery of sense is called Arthalankara. Both are present, and of course it will be beautifully enshrined in a metrical fashion. The metrical melody is something which is always present everywhere. I shall take the same example. Dundu vistu sutaramate achetanasten mukhadapi dhanam 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 ithameva ninadah pravartate kim punaryadi janasa jane sachetane. This is called Rathodhata meter. Feeling the speed of a chariot. Rathodhata. If a chariot is rushing with high speed, how we feel the momentum of it, so is the spirit of this meter. And hence it goes by the name Rathodata. Dundubistu sutaram aceta nastan mukhadapi dhanam 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 ithameva ninatah pravartate kim punaryadi jane sacetane. Like that. So in Sanskrit, we have so much to hear, so much to listen to. In that sense, to translate Sanskrit into other languages means losing so many things. If you want to taste honey, if you are given a syrup of jaggery, in what way you would feel? That is all going to happen when we are catering to translations. But what to do? We are compelled to take translations only to see to it that we have to go to the original, learn that language and appreciate the melody part of it. Then these are about isolated verses. But we have a contextual work itself, a narrative work, an epic poem, or a lyrical poem, or a song, a play, a playlet. Like that, there are so many types of works which are available in the splendid literature of Sanskrit. There, everywhere we see unique features of Sanskrit. I shall enlist a few of them. Some of them may already known to you. As I told, verbal melody and also the beauty of sense. Both the beauties of sound and sense are available. And then the themes. The themes are often positive in nature. Just now, I was discussing something regarding depression and how to treat patients in depression in the purview of psychiatry and clinical psychology. Here, Sanskrit literature offers a lot because unlike the literary forms of many other languages, in Sanskrit constantly we have a positive approach to life. Positive means it's not just to have a good feeling. It is very much rooted in reality. Ramayana, the great epic composed by Adikavi Valmiki, though it has so many pathetic situations, so many sorrowful situations, and so many situations brimming with pathos, ultimately it gives a consoling effect, it gives a soothing effect, and that is the positive approach. And that's why one of the sayings in Ramayana, when Sita was about to kill herself, thinking that Rama would never turn to her, she would never get relieved from the clutches of Ravana, she wanted to kill herself. In the book Sundarakanda, we have a chapter called Udbandhana Vyavasaya. She was about to hang herself. Then Hanuman appears, comforts her, and assures her that Rama will be coming to rescue her. He says, Kalyani patagatheyam laukiki pratibhatime yeti jivantam anando naram varsha shatadapi. Oh Sita, there is a saying. There is a saying in the masses, Laukiki Gatha Kalyani, very pious and auspicious saying, assuring, refreshing and reassuring saying is available that says, Yeti Jivanta Manando Naram Varsha Shatadapi. If we live longer, fortunes come in search of us even after 100 years. And so we should not kill ourselves. The same line appears again in some other context in the same epic. But I am saying, in that way, the epic is fully positive in nature, though here and there we have sorrow, though here and there we have pathos. And the same thing is with Mahabharata. In Mahabharata, the great epic of Bhagavan Vedavyasa, Pandavas, even after their victory, lose everything. They lose their children, they lose their allies, they lose their elderly people, they lose their mentors. So many such things happen. But even then, Draupadi, wife of Pandavas, she says, well, I have suffered a lot. I have lost my father, elder brother, younger brothers, all my 5 children. In spite of that, I want to live. I want to feel the governance of the empire, at least for a few years. Then let me take up the decision, take up the call of going to forest or whatsoever. I am not bothered about that enough. I have to occupy the throne. This is not in desperation. This is not just getting allured by position, prosperity and other things. It is the commitment for life. It is the commitment for the brimming spirit of life as it is. And that is what we see in Draupadi. And then her mother-in-law, Kunti, she too says that when she was blessing her grandson's wife, Uttara, was a young widow, a war widow, she says, Bhagyavantam prasuyethaha, mashuram machatharmikam, shurascha kritavidyascha, vane tishtanti matsutaha. Oh my child, you have conceived, you deliver a fortunate son. I don't want heroes, I don't want victorious people, I don't want even virtuous sons, but I want only a fortunate son. This is the positive feel. That old woman had already crossed 85 or 90. For 30 long years she was waiting to meet her 5 sons who were in exile. For 12 years they were in forest, and for 1 year they were undergoing the trial of Ajnatavasa. In disguise, finding the fortune, they were all serving in the court of Virata. Even then, Kunti had so much of internal strength. When Krishna comes and says, Mother, what message you have for your sons? She says, for this day, any Kshatriya, any warring prince should wait for, should live for. Here comes the day of Kurukshetra war. Let them wage the war and get their right share. This is all my message is. Means she is not scared of war, she is not scared of death, but she is always caring her self-respect, self-esteem, and this positive empowerment which is seen throughout the epic, and the same positive spirit culminates in Shantarasa, in the emotion of tranquility, in the aesthetic pleasure of serenity. Shanta, tranquility, is not product of negationism, is not product of negativity, is not product of depression as such. It is product of positive mind, and that is seen both in Ramayana and Mahabharata. And again, going to Adikavi Valmiki, Rama, even in forest for 13 years before losing Sita, was very happy. How many people can be happier like that? This indicates the undercurrent of happiness, undercurrent of joy that is present in Sanskrit literature. And then another dimension of Sanskrit literature is, it is not mere transformation that is occurring in characters, it is evolution that is occurring. Transformation can occur through external forces, but evolution occurs internally. Every character, like a flower, evolves. Rama, before war, before banishing Sita, and before becoming a hero, how was he? What were his qualifications? What were his virtues? The same thing carried out throughout. So also Shri Krishna. Before becoming a great hero in the arena of Mahabharata, how was he? The same Krishna is seen at the fag end of Mahabharata also. But as a contrast, I have to say, in Homer, what was the character of Odysseus before the war of Troy is not the same as the character of Odysseus at the end of Odyssea, another epic of Homer. The same thing applies to Hamlet, Macbeth, Othello, and so many other characters. Here we see transformation, but here we see evolution. Rama, before all such trials, was Gunavan, Viryavan, Dharmagnya, Kritagnya, Satyavak, Dhradavrata. All these virtues have been enlisted in the very first opening canto of Valmiki Ramayana. And again in the second book, that is Ayodhya Kanda. In the first and second chapters, we have the enlistment of all such virtues. And the same thing continues throughout. We see changes in Rama, but it is an internal evolution that is constantly happening and no external transformation which is going on. In that way, we see the virtues becoming radiant, becoming clearer, becoming more and more evident. That is what we see in Sanskrit epics. Hence, we know it is a different treatment that has been given to characters. It is not opposed to the West, but at the same time it is complementing to the values of West. And even the Western values can be taken as complementary things to the Eastern ones. Then we have the appreciation of nature and the role of nature in Sanskrit poems. This has a marked place in the annals of world literature. If you look at Homer, he often says that cold and saline sea water. Sea can only be that, nothing else. But in Sanskrit literature, sky can mean so many things. Sea can mean so many things. A tree can mean many more things. And they take part actively. In the famous play of Shakespeare, perhaps is the last one, that's what many critics opine, Tempest, Prospero will be having control over nature. And we see that in the character of Ariel. But in Shakuntala, nature is never under the control of human beings, but it will be very compassionate. When Shakuntala is going towards her husband's place, the nature, the whole environment of Kanva's ashrama will offer generously on its own accord gifts. Kshaumam kenachi bindu pandu taruna mangalyam avishkritam, like that the poet says. One tree offered a beautiful moonlight-like garment to Shakuntala, and another creeper offered the altar or the lac, the dye which is needed to anoint the feet, and another tree offered jewelry. In that way, they started giving gifts. But no one asked, no one compelled. And when Shakuntala was about to leave, he requests his adopted father, Kanva requests, Seyam yati Shakuntala patigraham sarvair anugyayatam. Shakuntala is about to leave this hermitage. All you people, you please permit her to go. Then Anumata Gamana Shakuntala Tarubhirayam Varavasa Bandubhi, like that the poet says, listening to the melodious voice of a cuckoo, Kanva says, oh, here comes the permission. And then the voice is heard, divine voice, Ramyantarai Kamalini Haritai Sarobhis Chaya Drumayar Nimetaka Mayukhatapaihi Bhuyat Kusheshaya Rajo Mruduredu Rasyaha Shantanukula Pavanascha Shivascha Panthaha. May her way become pleasant, beautiful, and the shady trees and the beautiful path where there will be no dust apart from the pollen grains being carried away by the breeze coming over the lotus ponds, nothing else shall disturb her. Bhuyat kusheshaya rajo mrudurenu rasyaha shantanukula pavanascha shivascha panta. Very cool, comfortable breeze, and the path may be good and auspicious. Shivascha pantaha. And the last phrase became an idiom itself. Shivaste santu panthanaha. May your path be auspicious. May your path be good. Like that. This is what we see in so many other situations, in many such things. When Yaksha, Kalidasa's Meghaduta, deals with the story of an Yaksha, a demigod, being separated, cursed by his lord, and he is separated from his beloved for a year. Then he has to send a message to her, Yakshi, demigoddess. For that he chooses a cloud. Usually in Sanskrit tradition, and in Indian tradition, yesterday I was mentioning, in India, rainy season is an event. In the Western countries, winter is an event. For winter, we have to prepare so much. In the beautiful novels that were written by Laura Ingalls Wilder, basing on her own childhood experiences, the Little House series, The Long Winter is one novel. For 7 long months, winter will be occupying the small place Dismet near Dakota. Then how they prepare, how they store food, and how they prepare clothing for that, and how they face the winter, all that being given in all vividity. And we see in so many Western novels. And the snow, fog, and even the scorching cold, biting cold, all that being explained there. That we never see in India. It's a tropical country, but we have a rainy season, Varsha Kala. It occupies almost 3 to 4 months. In the same way, how in the Western world they prepare for the winter, there in India, especially in places like coastal Karnataka and Kerala, the rainy season's violence will be even more cruel. For 3 or 4 months, they store food. Clothes cannot dry easily. Dry clothes they have to prepare. And then the cattle feeding, everything is needed. The fodder, how to maintain that. And the fuel, very difficult to fetch dry firewood. All that thing used to be a great event. Like that, the rainy season used to bring the whole of India into halt. And hence people who are moving around, people who are going for a travel, going on a mercantile, they were separated by their beloveds. And hence rainy season used to be a testing time for their love. And Yaksha, before the advent of monsoon clouds, wants to send message of safety, message of his own security to his beloved Yakshi there. Because the tender hearts of the beloved, tender hearts of the women will not stay hard, will not stay longer if they hear the first thunder of the rain-bearing cloud, because they were not in unison with the beloved. And hence the Virahinis, the women in separation, should not hear the thundering sound of the cloud. For that, the poet has a unique method. If the thief himself is made the custodian of treasury, what will happen? He cannot publicly burgle. And hence, he chooses a rain-bearing cloud itself as the messenger and sends. Tasminnadro kathichid abala viprayuktasya kami nitva masan kanakabalaya bhramsharikta prakoshtha ashadasya prathama divase megham ashlishta sanum vaprakrida pranata gaja prekshaniyam dadarsha. He saw that cloud, which was like an elephant calf, playfully moving on the sky, in the sky. And then he prays, Kudaja Kusumaihi, Kalpitargaya Taspai, Prita Priti, Pramuka Vachanam, Swagatam, Yajahara. He offered whatever available, whatever forest flowers available as Arghya, and then prayed Jatam Vamshe Bhuvana Viditam. Like that, the poet says, continues. What I mean here, the poet has no hesitation to make a cloud as messenger, and the whole poem goes with it. More than 120 verses are available in that short lyrical poem. Perhaps the finest poem in Sanskrit literature, finest lyric. Every verse is in association with the reference to cloud. One or the other way it comes. At some places, all the 5 senses are involved. And he describes, along with that, the cloud as the hero and the rivers as heroines. The cloud is not averse to polygamy. In those days, it was perhaps the order. In so many countries, it was. And every river was suffering because of the summer. Hence, the course of the river was depleted. It had no waters. And all these rivers were, in that sense, Virahinis, suffering because of the pangs of separation. And hence, when the rain-bearing cloud showers on them, they are swelled, they are bursting out with joy, and they become the real Swadhina Patikas, the women having their husbands in their dancing to their tunes, that is called Swadhinapatika, one among the 8 types of heroines of Natya Shastra. Gambhira, or Nirvindhya, Reva, Ganga, Charmanvati, so many rivers they appear. And also the mountains. All mountains, in Sanskrit, rivers are in feminine gender, Nadi. Only very few rivers are in masculine gender. In the course of cloud, which is present in Kalidasa's Meghdutta, we find no such masculine rivers, Nadas. Only feminine rivers, Nadis, they are seen. And mountains also appear. We have one mountain called Nicha, another mountain called Amrakuta, and then another mountain, that is the great Himalayas. So many mountains they come across. They are all friends of cloud. Friends generally give shelter. As the cloud passes, it stops when a mountain peak comes by its way. And that's why Kinnaha Shikarshu Padam Nesya Gantasi Yatra Kshina Kshina Parilagupaya Srotasan Chopa Bhujya. As you become tired, you take rest on the peaks of the mountains. As you become thirsty, you drink the waters of river and move on. Like that the poet says. And here, the meter is Mandakranta, slowly going with melancholy, slow pace of melancholy. That may be a rough translation of Mandakranta. Kinna kinna shikharishu padam nyasya gantasi yatra kshina kshina parilaghupaya srota sanchopa pujya. I can't recite it faster. So slow and mellowed down is that. In Valmiki, while describing the rainy seasons in Kishkindha Kanda, the Adikavi, the great Adikavi says, Vishramya, Vishramya, Punah Prayanti. The clouds, because they are heavy, they are pregnant with water, they are moving slowly and step by step they are taking rest on the peaks of mountains and going. And in the versification, you can just hear the strain, the stress. Vishramya, Vishramya, Punah Prayanti. In Indian context, shh, I'm very much tired. Baba, मैं तो थक हूँ. Like that we say. That Vishramya, Vishramya, Upadmaniyas, the hissing sound coming, it gives what an amount of auditory imagination infused into that particular line. Actually, it personifies the strain that water-bearing cloud is undergoing. That is the beauty of Sanskrit poetry. Vishramya, Vishramya, Punah Prayanti, Kinna, Kinna, Kshina, Kshina. Like that, the heaviness, the burden, the weakness, all that is suggested. In that way, the mountain becoming friend. And also, the poet will not stop by that. When you go and hug the mountain with your cloud, it can take any shape. And that's why as we imagine, we have different shapes in cloud that may mean very much. And cloud being a friend to mountain, it will hug. And also, it will shed first drops of rain, that is the tears of joy, Ananda Bashpa, Munchato Bashpa Mushnam, like that. Means the imagery is extended so much. And also, the lightning, inseparable with the water-bearing cloud, will becoming the beloved of the cloud. When cloud is a hero, the lightning will become heroine. Of course, the rivers are there. They are one set of heroines. But the permanent heroine is Dharmapatni, that is Vidyut, the lightning. And then, at the end of the poem, the poet, through Yaksha, says this one. Mabhudevam kshanamapi sakhe vidyuta viprayogaha. Oh cloud, you please take my message to my beloved. I will wish one thing. You never get separated from your beloved. Mabhudevam kshanamapi sakhe vidyuta viprayogaha. We know water-bearing clouds can never get separated by lightning. So my aspiration is that, my wish is that you be ever associated with your beloved. In that way, nature's humanization is extended in so many layers and at so many levels. This we see in every poem of even mediocre Sanskrit poets, even average Sanskrit poets. And it is all personified, and this is not an accidental event happening. Since the Vedic period we have that. In the Vedas we have night being eulogized, Nakta Sukta, day being eulogized, Ushas Sukta, and rains being eulogized, Vrishti Suktas, and waters being eulogized, Aponaptri Suktas, fire being eulogized as Agni Suktas, and even we have many subsets of that. Aranyani, forest being eulogized. Like that, in so many hymns of the Vedas, we see the nature being worshipped. At times because of fear, at times because of love, at times because of need, at times because of distress. Like that, it will vary. But in Sanskrit poetry, it is always with love. It is always with affection. It is always with positive hope. That is what we see. And hence, the poets are keen towards the changes happening in the nature. They are so keen about the flowering season, how every flower blossomed. And they go to such an extent, usually men are enamored by the gait, manners, attitudes and beauties of women. And that's why they thought even the trees like that. So they have invented a poetic fallacy called Dohada. Some trees, if they are not blossoming even in spring, what to do? If a beautiful lady comes with wonderful jewelry tied around her feet and decorated, if she kicks, then the tree will blossom. Padagata dashokaha vikasati bakulaha shidu gandusha sekat. If bakula tree is not flowering, a woman with her mouth full of wine, just she has to spit on the tree, it will blossom. You should not experiment that. You should enjoy, that's all. And some, they are not comfortable with such a rash treatment. Some other tender trees are there. They are connoisseurs of fine arts. Purato nartanat karnikaraha. Karnikara tree blossoms when a woman is dancing in front of it. And then Geetan Nameru. Nameru tree will flower happily when someone sings. If one tree is given a comfortable chat, then it will blossom. Like that, we have some 10-12 trees available in Sanskrit literature. Means it is poetic fallacy. But why we have taken? Our poets wanted to see that the whole nature is humanized and the human feeling is that. Here we see a tree and a creeper coiling that. The encoiling of a creeper is a beautiful imagery to a lover hugging her husband or hugging her boyfriend. Like that, such a match is something like a stock phraseology, a stock imagery. Immediately it comes to our picture. It has become dead metaphor like that. And lotuses, they are all beloved women. And the first sun ray is the affectionate and assuring hand, assuring touch of a sun, the hero. Like that, everywhere we have that. Moon becoming hero, and lily becoming heroine, and swan becoming hero. Another swan will come. Like that, we have many such things. It will go on. In that way, nature is being portrayed in such a positive manner. Even the winter season, even the rainy season is pictured in an optimistic manner. That we have to see. Means, we Indians, our Sanskrit poets, and the age of Sanskrit poets, it was also having all these difficulties. Nakadachi Danidrasham Jagat. This is the famous dictum of the Mimamsakas, a school of philosopher. The world was no way different at any time. Even then, they wanted to see this type of positive beauty in and around. And then we have profound values. Profound values. This value system is what we need forever. In Kalidasa, we see that. Of course, Vyasa and Valmiki are full of that. In Kalidasa's Kumara Sambhava, we see so many values. Kumara Sambhava is something like a gripping Hollywood film. Very rich, richly shot Hollywood film. I have written a long article on that. The cinematography is seen in Kumara Sambhava, in Kannada, of course. I shall give one value, one telling instance from that. Parvati, only daughter of the mountain god Himalaya or Himavan and Mena. She, since her adolescence, was interested in Shiva. But Shiva had lost his earlier wife Sati Devi, and hence he was reluctant to any marital life, and he was penancing somewhere in the corners of the mighty Himalayas. None would woo him, none would change his mind. It was not possible to change him, bring back to a romantic world. But Parvati thinks she can win the heart of Shiva. She goes by taking permission from her father. She wants to assist Shiva in his penance. Shiva accepts with a gentle nod. With all her toiling day and night in the service of Shiva, he never turns to her. Niyamita parikheda tachira chandrapadehi. Only the radiant moon which was decked on the matted locks of Shiva, that used to comfort Parvati and not the glances of Shiva. When that was the state of affair of Parvati, the Lord of Love appears. He wants to shoot arrows. Like that the story goes. Ultimately, Shiva is enraged. He burns. Poet says, Bhasma Avashesham Madananchakara. The Lord of Love was burnt alive, and Shiva vanishes. Antardadhe bhutapati sabhutaha. With his attendants, he vanishes. In front of the friends, in front of her attendants, Parvati's love is insulted. She cannot bear this. Tatha samaksham dahata manobhavam. In that sense, her desire itself is burnt, and her proposal was turned away. Rudely, she could not bear. What to do? What is the use of this beauty if my beloved is not accepting me? Then she gives a new definition to beauty. Priyeshu saubhagya phalahi charuta. What is beauty? That which is appealing to our beloved people. Either husband and or wife, either boyfriend or girlfriend. He or she is beautiful only when their partners enjoy them. When their partners accept that, then it becomes beauty. Beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. It's a very famous statement. So, beauty is subjective, and subjectivity has the reference, has the objectivity in the lover. That's how she realizes, then what is the use of this beauty if it is not appealing Shiva? Nininda rupam hridayena Parvati. By heart, she cursed her beauty. And what she did, she gives away the beauty of her eyes to deer. Usually, the beauty of eyes are matched, are compared to that of the deer's eye. Harinakshi, Mrigakshi, like that we have names also. Instead of comparing her eyes to that of to those of the deer, the other way the poet says, what a beautiful imagery. And her locks, the beauty of her locks have been distributed to the encoiling serpents. And also the beauty of smile is given away to flowers. And the beauty of her waist, slender waist, is given to creepers. It means generally the things that are compared for beauty are now becoming trustees of her beauty. In what way the poet gives imagery to beauty, you see? He has distributed everything. He has dissolved her beauty. And then tapakkiledam tadavapti sadhanam. What for Shiva is undergoing penance? Let me do the same thing. If that is the most daring thing, let me do. Endearing thing too, let me do the same thing. Then she undergoes. Then Shiva at last comes and kneels in front of her on his knees. Adya prabhatya vanatanki tavasvidasa kritastapo vadini chandramaulo anhayasa nimajam klamamutsa sajja klesha phalenahi punarnavatam vidhatte. From now onwards, I am your slave. You have purchased me because of your penitential virtue. That's what the poet says through the words of Shiva. Here itself, a poet of our times would have ended. And many Western critics have told the same regarding Kumara Sambhava. But Parvati will not stop there. See, in these days, even in India, our girls and boys think, I earned the love of my lover, so I go. I get my marriage registered, or I will live together. I have no botheration with any other third person. But Kalidasa has something. She thinks, but it is not directly told. My father gave me permission to marry the man of my choice. So let me give the joy of arranging marriage for me. My father should have the joy or the privilege of arranging my marriage. And that's why she calls her attendant and says, Atha Vishwatmane Gauri Sandhi Desha Sakhi Mitaha Data Me Bubhratam Natha Pramadi Krita Miti. Oh, my friend, come and just say this gentleman that he has to approach my father and not me. He need not kneel in front of me. Let him go to my father. It means this is love marriage, culminating in arranged one. This should be the way. Love marriages should be so beautiful, should be so harmonious that they should be as sweet and as conducive as arranged marriage. They should end up. Love marriage is a flower and arranged marriage should become the fruit. For that fruit, love marriage is the basis. This is the fruit and that should fructify only as an arranged marriage. That's how our poet visualizes. And then Shiva also. She will not force Parvati. Well, you come with me. We are free people. We are eligible bachelors and ministers. We shall go. He says, Sasmar smarashasanaha rishim jyotirmayam sapta sasmar smarashasanaha tatha. Well, okay, all right. So saying Shiva, remember the 7 seers who are the 7 in the northern direction, the 7 stars. The rishis appear and they go for the negotiations of Shiva and Parvati. It means the value, I have achieved everything on my own account. Even then, the society which supported me to achieve my end should be given its due share of decision making, arrangement and everything. In that way, this way of samarasya, this way of harmony, this way of integrity is what the epic Kumara Sambhava gives us. And also, the Lord of Love, Manmatha, when Parvati relied completely on her external appearance, Lord of Manmatha also appeared as a bodyguard to her. Manmatha was shuddering. Manmatha was scared of looking Shiva. Even then, he thinks, no problem. My 6th weapon, Parvati, is there. All my 5 arrows may become futile. I don't bother. Parvati is there. This girl is there as the lethal weapon, fatal weapon. Let me conquer the hearts of Shiva. But he failed. He was burnt alive. It means external beauty, to what extent it will come to our purpose. Nowadays, we think that the definition of beauty is changed. We are going beyond the narrow mindset of racism, narrow mindset of class, caste and other things. Long ago, the great poet Kalidasa did so. Beauty is never skin deep. You should go deeper. You should mean something more. And that's why, at one stroke, all the physical beauty of Parvati is cleansed, is washed away. In the first canto, more than 16 verses are devoted by a poet to describe the beauty of Parvati from top to toe and toe to top. But all that beauty and its description is only to see the fulfillment of her internal beauty. That is the victory of love beyond sensuality. And then Parvati marries Shiva. Then the Lord of Love is rejuvenated. He comes back to life. But then he is Ananga. Before that, he was in his body. He was physically strong. Now he is emotionally strong. His physical appearance is not at all felt, but only his mental appearance is felt. Another thing is, Manmata is seen only to his consort Rati. In our Indian mythology, the names are very suggestive. The Lord of Love is called Kama, desire. And his wife Rati means enjoyment. Desire should marry to enjoyment. And they have two children also. One daughter called Tosha, that is happiness. And another one son called Tosha. And another daughter called Trupti, contentment. When desire and enjoyment are married, they give birth to happiness and contentment. That is the message that our mythology carries. And Kalidasa beautifully uses that, and sometimes he contributes to mythology. In that way, Sanskrit poet has so many values. Sanskrit poetry has very many values. Not to speak of Ramayana and Mahabharata, in Kalidasa's Raghumsha. In Raghumsha, there is one instance, a student who wants to complete his graduation under a guru. He completes. He learns 14 different sciences. Chaturdasha Vidyasthanani. With his service itself, the guru is satisfied, but the student wants to pay something in cash or kind to guru. But guru is not for this. He says, your service itself is very contenting, very rewarding thing, and you need not pay anything. But he forces. Then the guru thinks to make him stop that, to make him I am unable to do, so that to check him. He says, for all the 14 sciences, you fetch me 14 crore gold coins. Now the student should say no, it's impossible. But the student is adamant in the positive sense. He goes to great king of the Surya lineage, solar lineage, Raghu. By that time, Raghu Maharaja would have given all his wealth as charity. He was, he then invited and offered Arghya and Padya, offered the formal ritualistic offering through earthenware to graven utensils he offered. But by that itself, the student realized this king has not a penny in his hand and need not trouble him. But Raghu will not listen to him. He says, you please wait for 2-3 days in my palace. Let me do some other arrangement. And then he thought of waging war against the Lord of Wealth, Kubera. But by his decision itself, the fate showered gold coins completely in his treasury, and so the treasury was brimming with gold. Then the next morning, the king comes, observes everything, knows, and then gives away all that money even without counting, more than 14 crore gold coins. He wants to offer that to a student. But the student says, no, what I need is 14 crore gold coins, nothing less or nothing more. Even a penny beyond that is greed on my part. I should not accept. But the king says, all that shower of gold is for your purpose. You have to take away all these things. Guru pradeya, dhika nisprahurti, nruporthi kama, dadika pradascha, like the Kavi says, the poet says, here we have unique beggar and unique donor. The beggar is not begging anything more than his requirement, and the donor is offering everything beyond his requirement, and here is the tug of war. This way, I should not aspire for anything which is beyond my requirement. That great value is seen from the perspective of the student, the disciple, Kautsa, and at the same time, the master, the king, the donor, for any good purpose, if some money or if something comes, it should be completely utilized for that, and it should not be saved spare, or it should not be saved for any other thing. This way, the suggestivity is replete in Sanskrit literature. These are some serious things, and very light-hearted, jovial things are also very many. Such beautiful anecdotes and verses have been culled out by me long ago, hundreds in number, and that has been translated into English. Annotated edition is available in the form of a book called Stories Behind Verses. It is authored by my friend, here is Shashi Kiran, and another friend, Arjun Bharadwaj. Both of them, they have done beautiful work in this regard. There you can find many such verses. I shall give one or two examples from that to show the lighter dimension. In the beginning, I recited a prayer on Saraswati. Chaturmukha mukham bhoja manahamsa vadhurmama manase ramatam nityam sarvashukla Saraswati. The famous benedictory verse from Kavyadarsha of Dandin, a 7th century poet and poetician of Kanchipuram, South India. He says, in my mind, which is like the crystal pure Manasa lake in the slopes of Himalayas, Saraswati, the goddess of learning, shall reside like a swan. And she is all white, crystal pure in complexion. This is what the poet roughly means. Perhaps his contemporary was a great poetess Vijika, who was dark in complexion. She gives a taunt. Saraswati Nilotpala Dalashyama Vijjakam Mam Ajanata Vrthaiva Dandina Prokta Sarvashukla Saraswati. Alas, what a fool is this fellow Dandi! Even in spite of knowing me like a blue lily, how can he dare say that Saraswati is fair and Saraswati is white in complexion? It's impossible. It's something wrong. It is redundant. I cannot bear with it. That is the import of the verse. Just see, a poetess who was a queen also, a courageous queen whose husband was spineless fellow, and so she ruled the empire. She was daughter-in-law of Pulikeshin II, a great warrior and a great administrator of Chalukya dynasty, Badami Chalukyas. She perhaps was younger contemporary of Shankaracharya too. She was so bold and courageous enough to say this. This way of witty answers have been seen. Any number of such verses can be culled out from Sanskrit literature. And Sanskrit poets were not even scared of gods. One great logician and philosopher, Udayanacharya, went to Jagannatha Kshetra, that is Puri in Odisha. The temple of Jagannatha has its own rituals and its own unique customs, very profound customs, very beautiful customs. So the god there is offered food 5 times a day. More than 68 or 67 food varieties are offered like that. There are so many stories there. Hence, every time the doors will be closed. When this great logician went there, the doors were closed. Unlike other devotees, he could not wait. Like our Kanakadasa of Karnataka, he didn't even pray God, oh God, please open your doors and let me behold your beautiful body, beautiful image. No, he never prayed because he is not a devotee. He is a logician, he is a scholar. With all arrogance of the scholarship, he said, Aishwarya Madamattosi, Ma Vamajnaya Vetsase, Upastiteshu Bauddheshu, Madadena Tavastitihi. O Jagannatha, are you mad of wealth? You are Lord of Lakshmi. Your consort is the goddess of wealth, Lakshmi. So you are arrogant, so I am proud. Hence you are ignoring me. Is it fair on your part? When the Buddhists come and argue that there is no God, there is no temple, there is no image, you will be under my mercy. If I am not warring for you, if I am not debating and vanquishing the Buddhist logicians, you will not be saved. So open your doors. Then immediately the doors opened. It means the story is so beautiful. At the same time, it gives the spirit of courage. This is called Panditya Veera, the heroism of learning, the heroism of scholarship. Like that, there are so many beautiful verses also. In that way, Sanskrit literature has many such things. There are many humorous verses, anonymous in nature. Once, in a village, the village leader got a bad dream. He thought something has to be done for that. Then one scholar came, and he was a cheat, of course. He was a shrewd man. It's very dangerous and a highly inauspicious omen it is. Let me perform a sacrifice by name Vajrashunta, unheard, unseen anywhere. It is a cooked up and concocted thing. And for that, you have to offer me 100 milking buffalo as fee, dakshina. And of course, along with that, so many gold coins, everything will be there. And this person agreed because of fear, and so the sacrifice went on, the homa went on. And another great scholar, he arrived on the way. What is this Vajrashunta Yaga, unheard, unseen, unread anywhere? Let me know what is the secret of it. Then this person who was performing the pseudo yaga, he immediately saw this new scholar, thought there will be something wrong. If I will not be taking the situation to my control, it will go out of order. And so while offering the oblations into fire with the Vedic hymns, Indraya Swaha, Indraye Dannamama, Agnaye Swaha, Agnaye Dannamama, this offering is to Indra and not for me. This offering is to Agni and not for me. Like that, in the same speed, Asyamur Kasya Yagesmin Mahishe Shatadakshina Tavapyardham Mamapyardham Vidyammakur Pandita Yaswaha. In this sacrifice, 100 sheep buffaloes are offered as fee, and half of it is to you and other half will be for me. And so don't ever think of curbing my intent or checking the sacrifice or coming for a debate. Half of it will go to you. Like that. Along with the Vedic hymns, in the same intonation, he sang this verse also. Then the other man was clever enough, shrewd enough, so he kept quiet with this assurance, and the sacrifice went on, and both the shrewd people, artful people, they had their purses full. This is so many such things. And even various professions are marked at. All castes, all creeds, all varnas, they are laughed at without malice. In the burial yard, two vultures were talking to each other. Vulture pair. She and he vulture. Grudri grudram prachati. Pitravana madhye nadrishyate dhumaha. Prayosmakam vedya gramantaram gata iti manye. The she vulture is asking, my lord, how come there is no fire, there is no smoke rising in the burial yard, rising in the cremation yard? How come? Then the he vulture says, perhaps our village doctor has gone to some other village. This way, the treatment of the doctor is wonderfully suggested. Like that, jovial and light-hearted verses are thousands and thousands in Sanskrit, starting from the profundity of Ramayana, sublimity of Mahabharata, beauty of Kalidasa, and brain-boggling compositions of Magha, Bharavi, Sriharsha, and so many others. Of course, because of paucity of time, I am unable to give examples from such scholarly verses also. So many verses that can be composed by using only 2 syllables. My own verse. Kalikale, Kalalila, Kalakila, La Kelika, Kalkaka, Kukileka, Kakali, Kokila, Kula. Only using 2 syllables, Ka and La. Or palindromes. Bhasada Mari Madasabha Rasabha Shokana Kashobha Sara Lasa Rasa Rasala Masavara Kapilashila Pikara Vasama. Bhasada Mari Madasabha. Reverse the Bhasada Mari Madasabha. It has meaning, it has meter, it has grammar, everything. Means Sanskrit is such a malleable, such a ductile language. Anything and everything can be done. Within a span of 4 sharp lines, 14 universes can be revealed. In that way, Sanskrit poetry as a value, something like music, has to be pursued for its own sake. Like music, the same raga, the same tune heard in the medium of human voice, or on the violin, or on veena, or on flute, or on dilruba, or on any other instrument will have different flavor. Just because I've heard a raga like Yamanna or Kalyani, a raga like Malkons or Hindol on veena or sitar, I will not be averse to listen to it. The same raga on sarangi or on violin, or on nagaswaram or on shahnai. In that way, Sanskrit verse, Sanskrit poetry is unique to itself. It cannot be supplemented, it cannot be translated, it cannot be enjoyed in any other way apart from enjoying the very same thing. This is the beauty of Sanskrit literature. Many of it may be known to you already. It's only a loud soliloquy, a sort of recapitulating some of the beautiful aspects of it for our joy. Thanks for the patient listening. Thank you.
Well, Shataavadhani ji, I think we feel both inadequate in front of this Jnana Sagara, but also bhagyavantaha, fortunate to be able to hear you and give us a glimpse of this universe of expression that's there in our great Sanskrit literature. Before I say some closing remarks, we do have some time for some questions. I would ask you, in the interest of time, to try and keep the questions short. But who would like to ask some questions?
And I believe those who would like to ask any question.
No? Yes, there's a question at the back.
Yes.
We'll just get you the microphone.
Please.
Yes, thank you very much. It was a very entertaining talk, and your passion comes through, and it was very enjoyable. The question is, Hindi literature is sort of formally divided into Adikal, Bhaktikal, Ritikal, etc.
Yes.
And they have a theme going with it, as the name would suggest. So then, with Sanskrit literature, is that much the same?
Almost. Adikal can be compared to Vyasa and Valmiki. Then Madhyakal can be compared to Bhasa, period of Bhasa, or Ashwagosha, Bhasa, Shudraka, Kalidasa. And Ritikal can be compared to Sriharsha, Magha, Shivaswami, and then Ratnakara, and many more. When form takes the lead and sophistication becomes the order of the day, then that is Ritikal. When we have the beauty of form and content well amalgamated, then that is Madhyakal. And the themes taking the lead, when the content is the leading feature and form is only a subservient to it, that is Adikal. In Valmiki Ramayana or in Vyasa Bharata and even in Puranic literature, more than the verbal melody, more than the beauty of imagery, story and characterization, plot and situations, they are important. In several sargas, several chapters of Valmiki Ramayana, one may not even be successful to find out 2 or 3 catchy verses. But the whole plot will be very endearing and engaging. Something like a chapter in a novel. In novel, every line is not a chiseled piece of beauty. The whole import of the chapter will be very important. The conversation, the narration, everything will be taking care of the beauty and not the individualistic beauty that is present in every line. In that sense, you can sum up, you can narrate a novel, you can retell a novel, but you can't precise or you can't abridge or you can't retell a poem. This is the beauty of Ritikal, and that has been seen in Sanskrit also. Perhaps by looking at Sanskrit, Hindi poets, they developed their approach to literature.
Great.
Right, thank you.
There's a question over here.
Yes.
We'll just get the microphone.
Thank you very much for such a beautiful talk. In some of the bhasas, natakas, we have some characters who can speak and say words in basically Sanskrit.
Prakrit and Sanskrit.
Yeah. So are there any other examples like that, and what period was that?
Fine. Sanskrit play is multilingual in nature. Irrespective of the poets, almost all Sanskrit plays are multilingual in nature. Some characters speak in Prakrit and some other characters in Sanskrit. For example, most of the female characters, it may be Sita or Savitri, it may be Rukmini or Radha, all speak in Prakrit. But even those characters sometimes speak in Sanskrit. For example, Vasant Sen of Mrichikatika will be uttering one after the Sanskrit verses, and Atreyi of Uttaramcharita Bhavabhuti, or Pandita Kaushiki of Malak Agnimitra. Like that, there are so many other characters that also speak, female characters, in Sanskrit. And some male characters also speak in Prakrit. A Brahmin and jester or clown, Gautama or Maitreya, so many such characters from either Malak Agnimitra or from Vrichikatika, they speak Prakrit. And all charioteers, they speak in Sanskrit. Like that, it's multilingual in nature, and at the same time I should give a clarification that I had mentioned in my earlier lecture on Natya Shastra. Sanskrit and Prakrit are no two different languages like English and French, or Kannada and Tamil, or Hindi and Urdu, or Punjabi and Kashmiri, or Greek and Italian. They are two dialects. Prakrit is the spoken form, colloquial spoken form of Sanskrit. Sanskrit is the formal and standardized form of Prakrit. And that's why nowhere in Sanskrit plays we say that is Anuvada, we say Chaya, reflection, mirror image, that is given as Sanskrit. Prakrita is given and its Chaya is Sanskrit, like that it is given. And you wanted to know the date of Bhasa's place, but scholars have another opinion. Recent research have been done, researchers have undergone on Bhasa's play, and people feel that all the available 13 plays of Bhasa, Travancore plays they are called, they are first published from Thiruvananthapuram under the editorship of T. Ganapati Shastry. They are not penned by Bhasa, but for Swapnavasavdattam, and even that is an abridged form of original Swapnavasavdattam, and many other plays are authored by different authors. I accept that view. But the date of Bhasa, we don't know exactly, but certainly he was prior to Kalidasa. He was one of the inspiring masters of Kalidasa. Pratita Yeshasam Bhasas Somilna Kaviputradinam Prabandhan Atikramya, like that Kalidasa says. Kalidasa's time again under dispute, but as far as my knowledge goes and as far as my agreement, he was in the golden age of Guptas, perhaps in 4th and 5th century Common Era. Before 100 or 150 years, Bhasa would have existed. That's what I feel.
Yes, please. Thank you very much for a very stimulating talk. You touched upon the interaction between the Sanskrit poetry as well as the music right at the end. A lot of these shlokas and poems are so lyrical, so melodic to actually hear. And a lot of them have been set to different ragas, whether it is Yaman or Hamsadhvani, for example. How has this interaction between the poetry and the shlokas to make it so melodic and to enjoy both the poetry as well as the music together? So how has this interaction come about?
This is a wonderful question. I invite such questions. the beauty of any language is two-folded. One is of sense and other is of sound. In Sanskrit, the beauty of sound is very much dominant, and very sensitive scholars like Daniel H.H. Ingalls, he has written a novel, an article itself, the difficulty in translating Sanskrit verses into English. To Indian languages, it can be translated to an extent, and almost 70% of the beauty of the original can be restored. But in English, almost 100% of the verbal beauty will be lost. You see, Adhikanchita manikanchana kanchi madhikanchi kanchi dadraksham avanata jananukampa manukampa kulamasmadanukulam. This is one verse from Aryashataka of Mukha Panchashati. Kapi vilasa vilola vilochana khelana janita manojam jayati mukdha vadhura dhikam madhusudana hridaya sarojam. One line from Gita Govinda. Or else Cheti Bhavan Nikhila Keti Kadambataru Vati Shunaki Patali. One line from Shankara. Like that, Hriditarasa, Viditarasa, Taditarasa, Hitya Vauname, Lagati, Kaviloke, Naviloke, Bhuviloke, Shastya Shahaji, Rupama. One verse from Kuttakavi. Thousands of such verses. Sarigama Padhaniratam Tam, Veena Sankranta Kanta Hastam, Shantam Rudala Swantam, Ghanabharatantam, Namami Shiva Kantam, Shankara from Shamala Navaratna Malika. Like that, we have so many. Why? Because Sanskrit vocabulary is very peculiar. We have hundreds of words to represent one meaning. Just to say lotus, how many words we can use in English or French or Kannada or Telugu or Hindi or Tamil? Not many. But in Sanskrit, we have derived words. Yoga shabdas like that. Lotus sprouts out of water, and it is called Jalaja, Neeraja. Many have the names also. Jalaja, Neeraja, Varija, Saroja, like that, using Ja, taking birth out of water. Or else you can say it can also mean Ruha. Ruha means sprouting out. Jalaruha, Variruha, Pankaruha, Salilaruha, like that, so many such things. In that way, very easily I can coin a set of hundreds of words for one lotus. But we can do such things in other language also, one may claim. But people who are reading that language and its classical poetry may not be understanding that. But any classically trained Sanskrit reader will immediately understand if a new word for lotus is given. See, so convoluted phraseology is being given. Kamalana mandhankarana aushadham. To say moon, this is the long attribute. This is a long phrase. That which makes lotuses blind, that magical medicine that turns lotuses into blind, what is that moon? When moon rises, lotuses close. That is a poetic convention too well known. And hence, moon is that magical medicine that makes them sleep or that makes them blind. Kamalana mandhankarana ushadha. In that way, convoluted way, we can say. And even in a very simple way also we can say. In that way, the poet, he wants to arrange the melodious words of his choice and do that. For example, he wants to give an import that her eyes resemble lotuses. Neeraja yugala karavilokanavati, like that I can say. Neeraja yugala karavilokana yuvati. Here nowhere I have stressed words. Nowhere I have sayukta aksharas. But if I want to make all that possible, Varjadvaya pratika kshi yuga mugdha. So harsh, so jari. I can do anything I can do. Depending upon the intent. When Bhima wants to speak, how will you speak? Chanchat bhujak bhramita chanda gada bhighata sanchurnitor yugalasya suyodhanasya tyana vanadha ghanashoni tashona pani ruttamsa ishyati kachamstava devi bhimaha. Even the people who are not trained to understand Sanskrit will think something roaring is going on, something heated discussion is going on, is it not? Aghasangharshana mega gharshana tali dvajvalya sandarshanam sangharshanam maghama nikshana takshana kshapta vikshobhaksha ekshalan. Like that, these are my own verses describing the rainy season. Or the gushing river Ganga. Swachandochala dachakacha gorachate tarambuchata from Mamata's Kavya Prakasha. Like that, in both ways, in Sukumara and in Buddhata, like we have in dance, the gentle and the forceful movements, Sanskrit has so much to provide. Hence, it is because of such a word power. And even in verbs also like that. In other languages, to express certain things, we may need a sentence. In Sanskrit, one word will be sufficient. He repeats it often and often to express that chari karti. One word is efficient. He again reads papati iti. One word Sanskrit is enough. It will punah punah patati iti papati iti. Or even in an indirect way, it will be read again and again papatyate. In active voice, in passive voice, in so many ways we can do it. A person is behaving like Rama. To express that, one word of 3 syllables, Ramati. She is acting like Ganga, Gangati. That's enough. This way of brevity is also present. That's a versatile language. One thing I have to convey here. For mere information, we learn so many languages. Especially we Indians, we learn English for information. English is a doorway to modern world because of information. But Sanskrit, just for its formation, it has to be studied. It may not inform anything, but just for formation. Informing is something and forming is something. Professor M. Kirina says, the purpose of education is not just to inform, but to form the minds. And this formation happens wonderfully in Sanskrit. For that, we have no alternative. Information can be very easily translated to any other language. From English to French, or from English to German, we may not lose anything. Technically sound languages, which are competent with all the technical words, we can translate. But how to translate the language which is least bothered about information? Something like music. Can we translate? No, we cannot translate. That's how Sanskrit has become inseparable with thought, inseparable with feel, and inseparable with emotion. Thank you.
I'm sure Shastry will be either feeling real joy in his heavenly abode listening to all this. Now I request our Subhanaji to kindly say a few words and propose a vote of thanks.
Thank you so much. I have about
Please.
5 minutes. Hearing this wonderful talk, I have to start with the verse from Raghuvamsha. Vagartha vidasamprakto vagartha pratipattaye jagatah pitaro varde parvati parameshwaro. So that our hearts and minds may be ignited to deeply understand the beautiful meaning of our poetry and verse. We worship the Mother and Father of this universe, Parvati and Parameshwara. And I felt you have really helped ignite for us in ourselves this joy and hopefully desire to go deeper into studying our ancient wisdom. You said one thing about these ancient great poets. We mustn't forget that we were blessed with some great poets of the modern era, namely our own Shastriji. As we were talking about drama and poetry, I remember being a young man on this stage performing with Nandaji and others the world premiere outside of India of his play Sakshi Shila in front of Swami Chinmayanandji. And so even today, we saw from yourself, you keep composing, Shastriji, there is this innate desire in humans to express the beauty of the universe through poetry and verse, and long may that continue. And these texts have a special meaning for me, if I may say. It was coming to a Valmiki Ramayana class with Dr. Nandakumara that I learned his brother was coming here for a vacation, Sri Chandrasekhara, who was my Veda Guru, and who took me to Mattur, where I met you, and Bangalore. And so I will just say very briefly, just reflections on Ramayana, Mahabharata, and Kalidasa, and then wrap up with an invitation to you all that comes from what you've heard today. And I think Ramayana is a beautiful work. We study the modern versions from Tulsidasa and so on, but I remember something, and Nanda said to me that Valmiki may be one of the most ancient texts, but it's also one of the most beautiful and simple. After, I would say, maybe 1-2 years study, you can read Valmiki's Ramayana yourself. And that depth of beauty that's in there is timeless, which is why there's this verse, Yavat sthasayanti girayaha saritascha mahitale. As long as the mountains stand and the rivers flow, tavat Ramayana katha lokeshu pracharishyati. Until then, all the story of the Ramayana, ever present on this earth. And this connection with nature, there you heard mountains and rivers you brought out so beautifully, comes from the Vedic times. The Vedic rishis felt the pulse of divine in everything around them, through nature, into themselves. So we have verses in the Mahashanti mantra, Shanno vataf pavatam matarishva, Shannastapatu suryaha, aha nisham bhavantu nashagum ratrif, pratidhiyatam, shamushano vyachatu shamaditya udetunaha, Shivana Shantama Bhava Sumradhika Saraswati Mate Vyoma Sandrishi. Just let the dawn rise sweetly for us, let the sun shine beautifully for us. These ancient experiences have come through in these beautiful verses. But you also see in these great texts the importance of values, as you said, of how one should live one's life. I often say that if you're going to live life, life will happen. Good and bad, tragedy and triumph around the corner for all of us. How do we live in such a way? These ancient texts give us that guide, how to infuse our life with love, service, compassion, so our life may become a yajna. And all aspects of the human existence are given to us in Mahabharata. Here's a text, you talked about Iliad and Odyssey. It's 7 times longer than the Iliad and Odyssey put together. We find the sacred and the profane. You know, there's this verse, Dharme cha arthe cha mokshesha, kame cha mokshecha bhartarashabha, yadi hasti tadanyatra, yanne hasti nakutrachit. In matters of dharma, artha, kama and moksha, which is all of human experience. What you find in this text, you may find in other places. What is not here will be nowhere else. So you have the full gamut of human experience ready for us. One small example, one of the greatest texts on leadership, I believe, is how Bhishma tried to calm and guide Yudhishthira at the end of the Mahabharata in Shanti Parva. I often ask myself, if only the leaders of today had been infused in the teachings of Bhishma. Maybe one day we should do a lecture on, we can talk about what was Bhishma's teachings on leadership for this modern age. You have such incredible wisdom in these ancient texts. And Kalidasa, I think you so beautifully talked about how this heart and soul comes through this amazing poetry. And Kalidasa has a special personal place for me, if I may say. You know, they talk about, there's a verse, Kavyeshu natakam ganyam. In all our poetry, the drama is the most pleasing. Tatra Shakuntalam matam. And the greatest is Shakuntalam, they say. Shakuntale chaturthongaha And in there, the fourth act is considered the most beautiful. Tatra shloka chatushtayam. In there are 4 shlokas that are the pinnacle of our poetry. For some reason, 4 comes up a lot. It's said that out of all the Vedas, 4 Vedas, Yajurveda won a contest. In that, the 4th Kanda won a contest, because in there is Sri Rudram. So somehow this 4 has this connection. And there's a verse, I must tell you, that came to me the moment my daughter was getting married and we were performing the Kanyadana, where basically Rishi Kanva says, as Shakuntala is going to get married, Yasit Adya Shakuntaleti Hridayam Samsprishta Mutkanthaya Kanthastambhita Bhashpavritti Kalushaha Chintat Jadam Darshanam Veklabhyam Mamata Vididrisham Aho Sneha Diranyoka Saha Pidyante Grihina Kathan Utanaya Vishlesha Dukhe Navaihi. As Shakuntala is leaving, my throat is getting dry, my speech is going. Chinta Jadam Darshanam. My mind has gone numb. I can't speak. My child is leaving. But then he says, such sorrow is in me, who is a hermit. So imagine, Pidyante Grahana Katham Utanaya, those householders who are the real parents of daughters, how they must feel. And the moment I started the Kanyadana, Kanyam Kanaka Sampannam Sarva Bharanabu, I can't say it, I'll get emotional. This verse came to me. I understood what Kalidasa meant. My own child, the piece of my heart I was giving to somebody else. You have this incredible depth and richness in our poetry, which leads, I think, to an invitation. It's how I came to the study of Sanskrit. Through Urdu, I knew what you lost in translation. You know, and that beauty of, you find in all poetry, even in Homer, I have to say, Homer has this beautiful line he repeats many times, when the primeval dawn touched the sky with her pink fingers of light. But ancient Greek is locked to us, most of us. Sanskrit is not. We teach it here at the Bhavan. There are classes. You could be studying Gita and Ramayana, Mahabharata, Kalidasa within a few short years, if you have the inclination. Which is why, again, on this occasion of the memorial lectures for Shastry, I remember how we used to sing together, Patata Samskritam, Vadata Samskritam, Lasuta Samskritam, Chiram Grihe, Grihe Chapunarapi. I think for this wonderful talk that we've had today, I'm hoping in some of you the fire has been ignited to go deeper, to reach out and try and study these ancient texts for yourselves. They are there. They just also have their hand out saying, Aja mere saath. Saath kuch dur katak aapka chahiye. Please, mere saath chaliye. They're there for us. And for that, we thank you that you inspired us, you gave us such joy, and you opened our eyes to the greatness of our ancient literature. And with that, I'd like all of you to join me in a wonderful, warm round of applause for our speakers.
Tomorrow, the talk is on the art of Avadhana, which is a special subject, and a PhD on that subject, something very unique. Please do come and tell your friends. And tomorrow is the concluding Shastri Memorial Lecture.
Yes, okay.
Please do come. Thank you.
Be careful of this tripod, huh? Hello. Such a long time.
I know.
Are you going home? How
Not
are you
yet.
going?
Not
Do you
yet.
want me to take you?
No, it's okay. I'm just staying here only at Art Flight. Are you okay? There's a big gap in there.
Yeah, because
I think they just put in plug in. Oh yeah, they're recording. How
it's
have you been?
YouTube. I have been very well. How are you, girl?
They're okay. My older one is getting married.
Oh, how
So
nice.
it's a big occasion. She's getting married in December.
Where here?
No, in Cochin, in Kerala.
Very
So
nice.
I went.
Mubarak.
Thank you so much. So I went to India. I was there for almost 9 months or 10 months. I took my younger. Not really. I went with my younger daughter to learn Sanskrit. So I put her at the Sanskrit Bharati, and she was learning, of course, dance and music. It was a gap year.
Yesterday I took some.
So I traveled around India and then came back, and my older one announced that she's getting. Hold on a minute.
She's getting.
Yeah, older one is getting. Come. Hello.